Cartoon Retro Boy here, and welcome to SpongeBob Season 9 Review Part 2. Oh boy. Look, I've been dreading to talk about SpongeBob Fired because that is one of the worst episodes of the show's entire history. Like, no contest. It is just literally just as bad as Choir Boys in Truth or Square. And that's coming from someone who always likes to be positive on a Sponge episode, but with Sponge You're Fired, nada. I cannot be positive with this episode. It is just one of the worst specials of the show's history. Now, what episode we're on this time? Because I don't even want to know what episode is next. Thankfully, it's not Sponge You're Fired yet. But don't worry, I'll crash into that episode in this review. Okay, Safe Deposit Crabs, pretty 4 out of 10. It's kind of just boring, filler, and bland. Next, Plankton's Pet is obviously the best episode of Season 9 and should be more people's favorite episode of Season 9 personally. So 10 out of 10, number 1 for Season 9. It is really good and really good Plankton episode. And Spot was also a really good character that they later would introduce more time, or later appear many times in the show after season 11. That's why I make season 11 my favorite season, one of my favorite seasons, because of how much characters that they add from other seasons got the more starring role that season. But we'll get into that season 11 when we get to there, of course. You do not know. Don't Look Now is pretty decent. I just think that the screaming was a little too much on the ears, personally. But I can understand why Spud and Patrick were scared in this episode. Even though, because I know it's because it's kind of like a sequel to Hooky anyway. It's kind of like a Hooky episode where Spud and Patrick is scared of, instead of Spud and Patrick, being thrilled by the hooks, it's now them being scared by the hooks themselves. Kind of like a nod to Hooky right there. Kind of like a sequel. Because they already know about the hooks. I guess it's like a sequel to Hooky. I guess it takes place after Hooky if you think about it. So, but except no Mr. Krabs in this episode, unfortunately, which is a real shame. Honestly, you do not know. Don't Look Now is kind of like a Hooky situation where I feel like the episode is trying to teach a moral, but I think this one is trying to be more scarier, of course. So, I think it's decent. It's pretty good. It's pretty decent. 6 out of 10. Same with its sister episode, Seance Smayance, which is a pretty decent episode. I'm just trying to get to SpongeBob Fired for no reason whatsoever. Kenny the Cat is mediocre at best. It is not a bad episode, but I feel like it's bland, forgettable, and mediocre at best. Same goes with its sister episode, Yeti Crabs. Like I said before, this episode is so mid that it's honestly the midward episode of season 9. So that's what I'm saying. What's next? Oh gosh. Well, that's where all my positive goes, because we're going into the deep bottom of rock bottom. The rock bottom. The third rock bottom of the entire show. Spongebob, You're Fired. Oh boy, where can I start with this train wreck of a special? Let's just start off with the premise. Mr. Krabs fires SpongeBob to save a nickel, and yeah, you know where this is going. This episode is literally where I think Mr. Krabs is at his worst. Yeah, no contest. I think this is where Mr. Krabs is at his worst because, and oh stupidest. Yeah, how do you think firing your best employee over a stupid nickel could help the Krusty Krab at all? That doesn't help anything. It makes it worse. And if SpongeBob wasn't there, you would be out of business by now, by those anchovies. A matter of fact, if it wasn't because of SpongeBob, then the Krusty Krab would have been out of business and would have been not as good as it used to be. So why fire him over a nickel, huh, Mr. Krabs? That's just not a good idea and pretty stupid on your part. And let's go about the filler scenes of this episode. Oh my gosh. This episode is filled with so much filler scenes that it's ridiculous. First, we have to have a long scene of SpongeBob crying in the restaurant. It's not funny and it's kind of hard to watch. Then we have to have him moping around in his house, followed by Patrick of all people, who's also weeping too. Yeah, a lot of this special, him and Patrick being fun employed, is also very boring to watch. It's not until Sandy actually encouraged SpongeBob to get a new job is where the special actually picks up. Because this is one of the worst specials of the show's history, honestly. And it's just because of how much frustration it gets in this episode. And then we get into the SpongeBob scenes where he gets a new job, but even then, all he can cook is Krabby Patties, which you know what? I guess it's literally Little Big Switch and Model Sponge all over again. Both from their own perspective seasons. A matter of fact, this episode feels like Model Sponge, but worse. At least with Model Sponge, it was only 11 minutes long. And honestly, this is the worst SpongeBob episode when it comes to SpongeBob getting fired replaced by the Krusty Krab, because at least with every other episode, even Big Leap Bob, at least with that episode, you can at least it actually had a story and actually had some stakes going on. This episode has no stakes at all, and also has literally no jokes to follow up on. I was not a big fan of Big Bleep Bob. Honestly, that episode was pretty mediocre, but at least it actually had a story, and it was also a post-sequel episode, so I can forgive it for that, but still. Yeah. Yeah. I cannot say anything about this episode that everyone already else said about it. And overall, it's not a great. And overall, I think everyone has already talked about SpongeBob Get Fired on YouTube itself. So I feel just as comfortable putting it in as a 1 out of 10 and 49 on my season 9 ranking. Wow, what an absolute dumpster fire piece of crap. Yeah, that's right, I said it. That is right, I said it. It is literally one of those episodes where it gets really bad on rewatch and it never gets better and better and better. It just gets way worse on rewatch. And thank God this is the final episode of the post movie era, cuz god, man, we had a lot of bad specials during this period of the show. Atlantis Gripantis being the one example. So it's true for Square, or the classic Triton, or Legends of Bikini Bottom, or Back to the Past. And this episode, man, the post-sequel era had some hit or miss specials, but these are some of the worst specials of the entire show. So yeah, that's something. That is something that is not an accomplishment, and I don't like that either. Even the overhyped 11-minute episodes are even not as good too. I mean, who likes You Do Not Know Sponge themselves? Nobody watched that episode. No one likes that episode. It's just an overall bad episode. Anyway, what can I finally say about this season? What can I finally say about season 9A? I think it's mediocre at best, and it definitely had only 3 bad episodes that needed to be absolutely monetized. And, oh boy, I think I'm done. Thankfully Spongebob Refired is the last episode of season 9A, because man, we ended season 9A on a really bad note. Thankfully the post-sequel era is just about there. And we'll get into that era once we get into that, of course, next video. So that's gonna be something nice, because I definitely need a sort of break from post movie SpongeBob, because really this is the worst. This is the worst way you can end it off on, honestly, and one of the worst of the entire show. Because how much they can screw up one 22-minute special in 1 year of 2013. No wonder the show had a hiatus in 2014, because man, 2013 brought us like 2 bad episodes that were some of the worst episodes of the entire show's history. Let's just move on, please. I think that's it for this video. Like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky and Amino and Discord. No, not Discord. Snapchat, and that's it. Man. See you guys in the next video. Cartoon Retro Boy is out.